looking at the exploitation and the preservation of the Earth's natural resources. Now, one of the things we've been speaking about before is that as our numbers have increased, and you must bear in mind why human numbers have increased so much. First of all, we've controlled our environment a lot in terms of making food and that sort of thing. You know, so if we could control the making of food, our numbers could increase enormously, as we know. Number two, since the Industrial Revolution, with development of technologies that ultimately gave rise to incubators and advances in medicine like antibiotics and all these kind of things, we have massively increased the survival rate of course, the human being. And therefore our numbers have grown and grown and grown and grown. Now you will know from the work that you did in grade 11 that any other species, when its numbers get too big, the environment puts a strain on them. There's competition. So their numbers go down until the environment regenerates itself, and then their numbers go up and down and up and down. But what have we done as human beings? We've gone to an area, we've maybe over-farmed it through with our monoculture, where you only plant one thing in the soil. You'll never see that in a natural environment. It's unnatural. It's not the way nature works. We've overgrazed it, we've deforested it, or whatever else it does. And what we've done is we've often destroyed an environment and then gone, ooh, you know, we've destroyed it. And what have we done? We've just gone, bye. And we moved off somewhere else. We went there and we destroyed that environment too, and then we said, oops, we destroyed that one, and we moved off again. Now, we've been doing this for years and years and years, and there basically is no more place for us to go. Okay? But with that, not only have we been destroying the environment and polluting the environment, as we said before, we have also been massively exploiting the Earth's natural resources. Now, the ones that you're probably most common with are those fossil fuels. Do you know what the fossil fuels are, Amanda? Mm-hmm. What are they?
They're fossil fuels.
The fossil fuels are what give us energy. Those are our coal. Those are gas. That is oil. Coal for generating electricity.
David, you answered way before I could answer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was still taking a breath. Hi.
I'm sorry, Amanda. So, of course, we know that with using coal for electricity, petrol to make, or oil to make petrol, gas, etc., the majority of the energy that we use as people on the planet are fossil fuels. But fossil fuels have been hanging around in the surface of the earth for maybe millions, thousands of years, and they are not renewable. That's the important thing. They do not reform. So as we continually pull them out of the ground, pull them out of the ground, and pull them out of the ground even more, we are drastically running out of these fossil fuels, and we need to fully become committed as a planet and a country to using alternative energy resources. The sun, the wind, waves, whatever else it is. Renewable sources of energy that do not create any pollution. So not only have we been drawing out the fossil fuels, but a lot of plant species and animal species are also disappearing because they have been overexploited. And the first example that I want to be dealing with is the overexploitation of a particular food source, which is, of course, the codfish. So let's read that. It says, overfishing of cod. One of the most important species of fish caught for food in the North Sea is cod. They live in shoals, are active hunters, and feed on other fish such as herring and on squid. Cod only begin to breed when they're about 3 to 4 years old. By the time they are about 50 centimeters long. Unfortunately, overfishing of cod is slowly reducing the cod population. Now remember, it's not only the overfishing of cod that's going on, the resources in the sea are practically at an end. And remember that there are food chains that have to run through the sea. We eat fish as well as the human species, and that the fact that 2/3 of the earth is covered with water means we must be preserving the biodiversity inside the sea. So, question 4.1.1 says, explain 2 consequences to the ecosystem if the cod population become extinct. Now, again, I'm going to be using my resource to look at this. So, if the cod population become extinct, remember that on account of the fact that we deal with food chains, if you remove the cod population, we know, for example, we can look at my question and it says that my cod are active hunters and feed on other fish such as herring and on squid. So if I remove the cod, what's going to happen in that particular ecosystem? The amount of herring and the amount of squid are going to now start to overbreed, upset the whole ecosystem and, of course, the food chain. Also, on the other side, it's also very important. If we remove the cod, the fish or other organisms that eat the cod afterwards, you know what I mean? In terms of the transfer of energy, they may suffer dramatically in terms of numbers because a major food source that they're supposed to eat is now no longer available for them anymore. And of course, if you're one of those humans who only think about humans, which unfortunately still seems to be the majority of the planet, we also eat cod. So therefore, just because of we need to be looking after the cod because we eat cod. I know that sounds like a harsh thing to say, but this is my experience. Most humans are only worried about themselves. So, question 4.1.2. Explain 3 management strategies that could be employed by the countries around the North Sea to prevent the cod population from becoming extinct. Bottom line, laws, tough laws that are policed, and that if you break these laws, there will be major, major consequences. I think all of us, unless there is a consequence, we don't tend to really react. People were chatting on their cell phone until it became there was a fine. Do you understand what I mean? Ooh, and then we suddenly drop our cell phones.
Don't do it.
No, we don't do it, or we pretend not to do it. So therefore, we can see that we've got to have laws. So what are the kind of laws that we could institute when it comes to fish in the sea? That there are certain areas, you divide the sea up into certain areas. You can fish cod in this area at this particular time, but you can't fish in the other areas. Then you move around. You see what I mean? And then we won't be overfishing all over the place. We must not sort of fish in the breeding season. One of the biggest problems associated with the cod depletion is the fact that a lot of this happened in the breeding season. So we were pulling fish out before they had a chance to get to a reproductive age, before they could breed. That is a major problem where that's concerned. But remember, as I said, we found after a lot of these laws was put into place that some of the very big fishing companies went out in the middle of the night and still were fishing in those areas where they were not allowed to. And therefore, it is absolutely vital that the laws are implemented, policed, and there are very, very strict repercussions if you do not abide by those laws. Remember, if the cod are gone, they are gone. That's the thing. We look at this thing, well, let's destroy it and then we'll rehabilitate it. No, we realize rehabilitation doesn't work. You must not destroy it in the first place. So we've got to keep our cod species up. Explain one problem that could result from any of the management strategies that you described in question 4.1.2. What I want to do is I want to give another strategy that I didn't mention, and that is that you can give quotas to people, the size of the quota, or you can fish or you can't fish. But the problem comes in with the small man. If you take, for example, in the Cape, those men who you see in their little fishing boats, and they've been doing it for generations and generations. You know who I'm talking about. You can often buy your lacquer fresh fish on the side of the sea there. Very often they are the ones who are affected. They can't get any permits to fish. So therefore, if they try and fish, they have major problems and get arrested and all the rest of that. But the bottom line is this is their income. They've been doing this for years and years and years, and therefore they cannot sort of find any other way to generate income.
Oh,
okay? I'm not hearing the time at the moment, so how much have we got?
We have run about 45
Okay, we've only got a
seconds.
few seconds left, so would you like to take that out? Or would you like me to continue? So the bottom line is, people, that you need to preserve your environment. End of story. Let's stop destroying the environment, let's stop polluting it, and let's ensure that there's sustainable development for the humans and other organisms on the planet in the future. Yeah.